So, Shannon, will he lead the Clippers to a championship during this contract?
Skip, I'm going to look at it like this. Let's break it down like this. We do know that there's a likelihood that he's going to miss some of the season this year. Is it going to be some or is it going to be all? He missed 15 games, he missed 30 games, or he says, you know what, guys, I'm going to make sure I'm totally healthy. Because this is what we know about Kawhi Leonard in his history. He does not play hurt. So I'm going to say this year, I'm going to wash it up. I'm going to say he doesn't play at all. Even though I think there's a 50-50 chance he does play, but he missed some games. So,
may I say you better hope he doesn't play this year?
No, I want him to play. I want him to play. It doesn't matter to me. We don't worry about the other squad. We worry about what's in our locker room. But anyway, so that's 1 year. So he has 2 years left because the fourth year is an option. Basically, Skip, that's an insurance policy in case the knees do give out on him because we know his history. He's had some knee issues over the last several years that's caused him to miss some time. I'm going to say they don't, Skip, because I don't believe the Nets, I don't believe Milwaukee, I don't believe the Lakers, I don't believe some of these other teams have some of the issues that they have. Now, when you have two guys on max deals, Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, it becomes very difficult for you to fill out your roster with significant players. Basically, you're getting guys on mid-level exceptions. You're getting guys taking the vet minimum. They did get an opportunity to sign Reggie Jackson back. He got some good money. He played really well for them last year. They invested a lot in Marcus Morris. He also returns. Terrence Mann is going to get more and more playing time. It seems like he's gaining confidence as the days go by. I don't believe they do, Skip, because I don't believe they're better than the Nets. I don't believe they're better than the Lakers. I don't believe that they're better than the Bucks. So with that being said, I'm going to say they don't win one within the next 3 years. Now, he could opt out after that fourth year, so we'll see what happens then. I'm just going to take it 3 years because that's what we know for a fact.
That's what we know for a fact.
He has a 3-year deal. I'm going to say within the next 3 years, he does not win a championship. As a matter of fact, our good old friends at Fox bet. Nets, Lakers, Bucks, Warriors, Jazz, Suns. All are favored in front of your team.
Well, that's in large part because of that injury.
Well, is he healthy all of a sudden?
If he were 100%, the Clippers might be up there right at the very top.
First of all, if LeBron James was in year 12, we'd be number one. You know that, I know that.
So, yeah, but he's completely healthy, and he could stand on a yoga ball for a whole minute.
There you go.
Wow.
There you go. I believe that LeBron James is going to play at the very minimum 2 more years. Now, Skip, will he be the same LeBron year 20, year 21? That remains to be seen. I'm concerned about year 19. We'll cross 28 and 21 bridges at a later date in time. I still believe Philly is in play for Dame Lillard. You put Joel Embiid and Dame together, that has the makings to be in something really, really special. So to make a long story short, and I made a short story long, I'm going to say no.
You're going to say no. Okay, I'm glad you brought up that time frame, that span of 3 years, because that's what we know.
That's what we know.
And we also, given Father Time, given tapping LeBron on at least one of his shoulders at this moment, I'll give LeBron 3 more seasons. So it's pretty weird that it's concurrent, that it looks like Kawhi will play at least 3 more years for the Clippers, and LeBron probably will play 3 more years for the Lakers.
They're like their 3 years overlap.
Okay, match.
Okay.
Here we go. I believe with all my heart and soul that Kawhi Leonard will win at least 1 championship for the Clippers in the next 3 years. I believe with all my heart and soul LeBron will not win another championship for the Lakers as he goes into year 19, 20,
You said
21.
that when he first got there, he wasn't going to win no championship.
Well, then they get the bubble championship.
Well,
Had a big old asterisk. Nobody wanted to go to the bubble except for LeBron, and I give him credit for that. They bubbled up on everybody. That's what they did, and they pulled it off. They got to play the 5th seed from the Eastern Conference in the finals, and the 5th seed lost its 2 best players in the playoffs in Game 1 of the finals. It has a big old shiny asterisk at the bottom of it, and you got a cubic zirconia ring, and I congratulate you for that in the bubble.
Didn't the Spurs beat the Knicks 1 year as an 8th seed?
Okay, I've never said no to that. I agree with that. That was a long time. That was ancient.
It happened.
Ancient David Robinson history.
Happened.
Yeah, okay, it did happen. All right, back to what just happened here.
Okay.
I believe there was a silver lining to what happened when Joe Ingles bumped Kawhi Leonard at the end of that game. Remember that game?
You keep saying that like it's almost like you believe it was intentional. That's what you keep saying. That's what you keep sounding like.
I'm not saying it was intentional because it didn't look that bad. Or can we see it? Just the Joe Ingles play. It's the end. They're about to tie the series up at 2-2, and it's at Staples.
Why was he in the game?
That's exactly my question, and I tweeted that immediately because there's 5:25 left in the game, and the Clippers are up 105-88. I don't know why, but it didn't look like a dangerous blow that was delivered, right? He just bumped him,
right?
And it wasn't malicious, it wasn't intentional. He was just trying to stop his momentum. Right. It was just a cagey play by a guy who kind of plays more with his head than his body, right? And what happened, he came down just a little bit awkwardly and ligament tore. Not badly, but it tore enough he needed surgery. So at that point, it's 2-2, and you know what happened the rest of the way. Paul George rose and shone the rest of the way, and he really played well. He played like a superstar instead of just a star. But the point was that if that play doesn't happen, I believe that Kawhi Leonard would have shopped himself. I believe that he would have wanted to be more wined and dined on the open market by the Knicks or by Miami or whoever else might have jumped into the fray. And yet, once that went down, well, he's kind of stuck, right? Because now it's a little questionable whether he can play at all, as you just brought up, next year. So are you going to pay? It's like the Kevin Durant situation. You're going to pay for Kevin Durant even though you're going to miss the whole first year with him? Yes, you are. But is Kawhi Kevin Durant? Well, I never said he was Kevin Durant. Right. He's really good, and he's good enough to lead the Clippers to a championship, but he's not Kevin Durant. But on the open market, as he had just turned 30 years of age, would Kawhi have been able to command the kind of attention and the kind of dollars that he did when he was in Toronto and came to the Clippers instead of the Lakers?
But the thing is, Skip, he wouldn't have been able to get the max dollars that he got from the Clippers on the open market.
I got it.
We know Kawhi wants to get, he likes his money.
But he also likes to be wined and dined, right?
Yeah. I still believe he would have got wined and dined, Skip.
Okay,
they showed him love.
So, but the point is, he is now a Clipper for at least 3 years, maybe 4 years, maybe beyond 4 years. We don't know that for a fact at this point. We know 3. And what we do know is that Paul George, as I just said, rose and shone in the playoffs because here are his numbers. They went up considerably from the regular season because he was playing 41 minutes a game. He far and away led the whole playoffs in minutes average per game. 41 minutes. He averaged 27 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 assists. That's star power. That's money can't buy kind of talent and an impact on playoff games. And I remind you that they got through Utah without Kawhi, right?
Yeah.
And then I will remind you, it took the stretch of Chris Paul's life to save the day for the Phoenix Suns against the Clippers without Kawhi.
Oh, that Game 6.
Okay, remember Game 6, what happened at Staples? When LeBron weirdly went to another game, but I don't know what that was about. I don't know what it was about, but the point was, at Staples that night, Chris Paul, who used to call Staples home, he made it his home away from home because in the last minute and 28 seconds of the third quarter and then the fourth quarter, he scored 27 points. You saw stretches in the finals where you'd say, there's no way he could score 27 points in a game, let alone in a
2
quarter.
games.
Right, in 2 games, let alone in a quarter and a minute and 28 seconds at the end of the third quarter. He just shot them right out of the playoffs. Well, it's like too good. You tip your cap, you go on. You know, you're done because he had not just the game of his life, he had the stretch of his life. I've never seen him play like that before. Right? Okay, so it took that to stop the Paul George-led Clippers. And then all of a sudden, they all ran it back. It reminds me of what Tampa Bay did, except they obviously didn't go win the championship. Although you, Shannon Sharpe, acknowledged on television that if Kawhi had stayed healthy, they would have gone to the finals. I don't know if you thought they would win the finals, but they would have gotten to the finals. I believe they could have beat Giannis and company, but that's just me. So the point is, Paul George is obviously back. But then Reggie Jackson came back. And it shocked me. I just pretty much figured that he had earned his money and he was gone, right? And you did too.
Yes.
You thought he was about to get really paid. And he took that mid-level exception of, what was it, like 10-ish million? Okay. And it was because he thought he owed this team for giving him a second chance in the league.
But
right?
that's good money, Skip, considering that he's playing on the minimum last year to get $10.5, $11 million this year.
Yes.
That's a nice. I mean, that's a nice bump in pay. And you're somewhere. I know my role. I know I playing with Paul George, playing with Kawhi makes my job a lot easier. So I don't blame him for staying.
Nicholas Batum came back, and it surprised me. I love Nicholas Batum. I don't know if most people appreciate him, but he was a driving force of the French national team that made it to the gold medal game.
Yeah.
He is a playmaker on both sides. He can defend. He's long, 6'8", and he's wily. He's crafty. He can disrupt. He can steal the ball. He can make a play.
As long as you allow Nicholas Batum to be your fourth, fifth, or sixth best player. But you remember what he was in Charlotte.
Okay, I got it, but they were terrible, and all of a sudden, as a cog for a very good team, he is very good. He's very valuable. Serge Ibaka couldn't play last year because of a back injury, and I'm told it's okay. He's going to come back next year. What if Ibaka re-emerges? Can he score as a big man? Yes, he can.
He's not getting young. But here's the thing that should concern you. Kawhi Leonard is 30 years old. Kawhi Leonard has been load managing since he was 21 years of age.
Okay.
And the knees aren't getting any better. So are you sure that's coming off of this injury, moving forward, he's going to get healthier? Normally knees and joints don't get healthier as we age. Given his history of what we know, a guy that's been load managing since he was 21, he turned 30. Are you good? You good with that?
I'm still good with that. Okay. He averaged 30 points a game in the playoffs. He made it through 11 playoff games. That was 7 against Dallas, obviously, in the first 4.
But they played more.
Okay, they did play more. But he averaged 30, 8, and 4 with 2 steals a game. That will work. He shot 39% from the three-point line. That will work. And when they really needed him, when they were down 0-2 to Dallas and down 30-11 at Dallas, game 3, he just took over. Well, he's that guy.
Yes.
And 30's not too old to give you that 3-year run from 30 to 33. He's in the heart of his prime.
No, Skip, he is in his prime. But is his body in its prime? That's the question that you have to ask. Not Kawhi. Kawhi is 30
I'm
years
looking at glasses half full. I'm saying load management will now really start paying off in his 30s. That he didn't spend himself in his 20s, right? Okay, so now Ibaka's back. Marcus Morris obviously is back. Pat Bev is back, and he was tremendous in the playoffs. He has to conserve himself at an advanced age and stage to save it up and spend it all in the playoffs. But did he not disrupt? Did he not cause some problems? He played very well. Rondo is back. I thought Rondo would end up being the starting point guard for this team, and it didn't materialize. But he is still there and still viable. And Luke Kennard, every time they gave him a little run and a little chance, he made big clutch shots.
Well, he played better in the playoffs than he played in the regular season. Terrence Mann might be the guy that's going to get a lot of run.
Speaking of Terrence Mann, he played 20 minutes a game in the playoffs and just got, to your point, better and better.
Yes.
He had a 39-point game against Utah in which he hit 7 of 10 three-point shots. He flashes greatness. I'm not saying he's going to be even a star, but he can be a starter for a good team.
He doesn't need to be the star, but he can play a starring role.
Okay. Big Z, again, not a star, but he is a skilled big man who plays his tail off every second he's on the floor. He disrupts. He causes problems. He can defend. He can rebound. He can score. He can do a lot of things that makes you a good team. And finally, they added one more depth piece in Justice Winslow. I've always liked him. I know he hasn't had huge impact in this league, but he's only 25 years of age, and he's like the last man on the roster. You don't
that's
think
all?
You don't think that's
like he's been in the league 10 years.
Yeah, he's 25 years of age. You don't think that's the championship roster that I just gave you?
But everything that you named, all those guys, everything is contingent on what? Kawhi's knees. And that thing's been bulky for the last 3 to 4 years.
Okay, I got it. But to me, everything is contingent on you guys. We're the team in the basement. You guys are upstairs with all those championship banners and all those numbers raised
VIP,
up to the rafters. We get that.
Yes.
We will soon own Staples.
No, you won't.
Because you are on the way down. Because what did you have to do after last year, another lost cause of a year for LeBron James? What did you do? you didn't just reshuffle the deck. You pretty much opened up a whole new deck of cards, right?
Yeah.
And it has one big joker right in the middle of that deck, and his name is Russell Westbrook. And you want to talk about a wild card? You don't know what you're going to get from Russell Westbrook, because I know you don't completely trust Russell Westbrook.
Skip, I've said it. If I've said it one time, I've said it 1,000 times. This is not a natural fit. Russ, AD, and LeBron. But if anybody can make it work, I believe LeBron James can make it work. But while you keep talking, all I know is in LeBron's first 3 years, he's won a title. That's what we do know.
It was bubble-licious.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
I give you that. Yeah.
Look at Giannis. You heard Giannis talking about it, the bubble, how mentally and physically taxing and draining it was.
It was.
Well, how you say the guy LeBron is so mentally weak if he was the strongest one and was able to survive that?
Yeah, he was just smart enough to keep his squad together, and it was the only squad that stayed together. And then he got the break of his life. They got to play Miami without Dragic and without Bam. Are you kidding me? It's a walkover. It's a cakewalk.
Okay, so when did Dragic turn into Luka?
Well, he was their leading scorer in the playoffs up to that point, and then he couldn't go. He tried to go later in the series.
So how many games do you believe Kawhi plays? That's what. How many games does he play at all?
It's going to come down to this. You better hope that he takes a red shirt year.
You
better hope.
No, I'm not hoping anything. I need you to tell me.
I was told the surgery was very successful and that the tear was not all that impactful on his potential.
You know what? I'm waiting for the day that I hear a surgeon say the surgery went awful.
I got it, but I'm pretty plugged in here, and if it didn't go that well, if it was worse than expected, I think I would be told that. And I was told that he will come back full force from this. He will be 100%.
When?
Okay, I believe by March that he will start to play basketball games for the Los Angeles Clippers. March, April, and get ready for May. Won't they go back to the May schedule? I assume.
Yeah, everything's going back to normal.
All right. So I believe he will be ready to fly when it comes playoff.
You're hoping that he's ready.
You're hoping he's not ready.
No,
okay?
Skip. Because, see, here's the thing. When I got something good, it doesn't matter what you do. See, if I perform my best, your best is not going to be good enough to beat me. So if the Lakers do what the Lakers do, Bron, AD, and Russ, you can't see us.
Well, you got all new faces and all new places, and you're going to have to figure each other out once again.
Right.
And you better be ready by March and April to make your playoff run, because the Clippers, they've been together. They can just reinsert Kawhi into the middle of this, and they'll be right on schedule. I told you going back to the bubble, they didn't know each other. They barely played
together. They know each other. Don't do that. You didn't say they didn't know each other opening night when they beat the Lakers. You didn't say on Christmas Day when they beat the Lakers they didn't know each other. You was out here crowing. You and Clipper Darrell. He sent out all the clips.
Oh, and now I'm in the same sentence.
Yeah, because you came out here. We showed video of Kawhi Leonard's commercial.
By the way, I'm glad you brought that up. I want to see it again. It's time today to see this commercial one more time, because it's about to become very significant. Look, here he is. This is Kawhi. Oh, he's in his vintage classic car, right? Oh, he's got a crown. It's a shot at the king, right?
Yeah.
Okay. These are his kicks. They're New Balance. You love New Balance, don't you?
No.
In fact, you secretly love... Oh, Kawhi Town. That sign said it's now Kawhi Town.
When? When is anybody moving to Kawhi Town?
Championship. That looks like a champion. This is his city. It is. It's his city now.
Skip, don't do that.
Yeah. Reign over L.A. with a little dangling keychain crown. Love that.
Skip, you ought to be ashamed of yourself.
Now, that took some audacity. That took some you-know-whats, right?
Yeah.
To drop that commercial on your opening night in L.A. while you're playing LeBron in, quote-unquote, his house.
This commercial, Skip.
Yeah,
but
he is going to back that commercial up.
When?
And I got a feeling this year.
When?
This year.
Because we backed ours up, even though you said he came out here to be Michael B. Jordan. You thought you was funny. You telling
LeBron.
jokes. Now you went to the stand.
Yeah.
Oh, he came to be Michael B. Jordan.
No, I think
he's
still
gonna do. Oh, he's in the movies. He didn't come to win. He come to rest on his laurels. Now we win a championship. You try to undermine us.
Well, it was a lucky championship, but you won it. I give you that, but I say you will not win another. He's going into year 19.
So
I want you on record. You will win another championship?
Yes. What part about yes didn't you get?
Well,
the Y-E-S?
it seemed like lukewarm. Your response.
Capital Y, capital E, capital S. Yes.
So LeBron James, before he is finished as an
Will
NBA
win
player,
another championship.
will win one more championship?
At least.
Is it at least or one?
He will win.
I think you just said one.
No.
Declared right out of the box. I said at least one.
He might win two.
Really? Well, do you want to go on record?
Might win two.
We'll say two.
Well, we already got one, so we win another. That's two.
We'll say three. Not one, not two, not three. Remember that?
He will win more championships with the Lakers than Kawhi will with the Clippers. And you feel comfortable? Go on record. Have the courage of your conviction.
I just did. I made an opening statement. Kawhi Leonard will lead this sad sack Clipper franchise that's never so much has even been to a finals, will go to a finals and win
and
it.
Still have
That's
it.
what I'm saying.
50 plus years.
He finally led them, or with help from Paul George, to a conference finals. That was their first ever.
First of all, if you live in my house, you can't just watch whatever you want on television. Staples belongs to us. We determine what you watch. We would determine what you do.
For now.
What you mean for now?
Yep.
Forever, as long as you're in our building. Get your own building. Aren't y'all got something going down in Ingles? Didn't Steve Ballmer buy the farm? And he gonna go out that land and he about to put his own little shop up? Okay, well, hurry it up. Because you're not going to have anything hanging there. Y'all got no banners. Y'all cover our banners up. Y'all come in our building, play in front of our house, and then cover all our pictures. Who does that? How you go to somebody else's house and cover their pictures of all their loved ones on the wall?
We do.
Exactly. Why? Because you got nothing.
We now have the better team because you have a liability at point guard named Russell Westbrook. I'm on record as saying it. Even LeBron James will not be able to overcome Russell Westbrook.
You got a guy that's pandemic. So at any given time, you never know what you're going to get. He might give you 40, but he might give you 4.
You were calling him playoff P. With all due respect.
Sometimes.
Yep. You know he was.
Sometimes.
Yep.
Russ knows him better than anybody. Russ knows he dropped a 5-piece on him.
I just hope that this is the year that the Lakers and the Clippers meet in the conference finals.
Well, we'll be there.
Epic, and you would lose epically.
We will be there. Where you will be is unknown at this time. See, everything that you talk about is contingent on this. Well, if this goes well, and if this happens, and if that happens.
No, I got only one contingency, that he comes back by March or April.
Hey, we just throw the ball up. Yep. We just throw the ball up.
Yeah. You really trust Russell Westbrook? Because you told me again and again you do not.
I don't trust Kawhi Leonard's knees. Well, I trust Russ more than I trust his body.
So you're hoping my man stays hurt. That's what you're saying.
All I said is that I trust Russell more than I trust Kawhi's body.
At this point. And it's weird with that commercial because normally they update commercials when it works well.
Oh, yeah, he in the boxing ring and talking about, but you already knew. I got next, but you already knew that. He got all these little classic cliches. And what he got? What he got to show for it?
Next.
Yeah, nothing to show for it right now.
Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few other segments from our other shows on FS1.